Siberia is one of the most extreme and mysterious regions on the planet. Covering approximately 5 million square miles, it occupies about 77% of Russia's territory and is larger than the United States and Western Europe combined. Despite its immense size, it is home to only about 40 million people, scattered across vast expanses of forests, tundra, and mountains that remain largely unexplored. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. In many regions, there are no permanent roads. Access is provided by helicopters, rivers during the summer, or temporary roads built over frozen rivers in the winter. It is a land where nature imposes its own rules, and where help can be hundreds of miles away. One of the most extraordinary places in Siberia is Oymyakon, located in the Sakha Republic, also known as Yakutia. With a population of around 500 people, it is recognized as the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. In 1933, it officially recorded an astonishing temperature of -89.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Although local residents claim that some temperatures have dropped below -94 degrees Fahrenheit. Under these conditions, the cold ceases to be merely uncomfortable and becomes a constant threat. Breath freezes almost instantly. Metals become brittle. Batteries lose their charge within minutes, and vehicles must remain running throughout the winter to continue operating. Electronic equipment frequently fails, and any interruption in heating can turn a home into a frozen trap within just a few hours. Even so, people live there year-round. They have adapted their routines, buildings, and infrastructure to survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Oymyakon is not merely a climate record. It is an impressive demonstration of humanity's ability to adapt and thrive under conditions that seem impossible to most people. But Siberia holds even more astonishing mysteries. Around Oymyakon, mammoths regularly emerge from the thawing permafrost, not just bones, but entire carcasses with fur, soft tissues, and even organs preserved by ice for tens of thousands of years. For local residents, finding a mammoth tusk emerging from a riverbank is not extraordinary. It is simply another day in the coldest inhabited place on Earth. On June 30th, 1908, at 7:17 in the morning, another mystery left its mark on the region's history. Above the taiga of the stony Tunguska River basin, a colossal explosion occurred, estimated at between 10 and 15 megatons of TNT, roughly 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The shockwave traveled around the planet, and for several nights the atmosphere over Europe glowed, as if illuminated by a permanent twilight. When the first scientific expedition reached the site in 1927, it found more than 830 square miles of forest completely flattened. Trees lay fallen in a radial pattern, pointing away from the center of the explosion. The strangest aspect was the complete absence of any crater or fragments from the object responsible. To this day, the most widely accepted explanation is the airburst of an asteroid or comet, yet many details remain unanswered. Another remarkable natural spectacle appears along the Lena River, one of the largest rivers on Earth, stretching approximately 2,735 miles. Along its banks rise the famous Lena Pillars, rock formations reaching heights of up to 328 feet and extending for dozens of miles. But the true treasure is hidden within the permafrost cliffs that line the river. Every year, enormous blocks of frozen ground collapse into the water, revealing preserved remains of mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, ancient plants, and even traces of early human settlements. Many of these discoveries disappear quickly, swept away by erosion before they can be studied. It is as though Siberia itself is revealing and erasing its history at the same time. There is also one of the region's most enigmatic mysteries, In the Vilyui River Basin, the Evenki people have passed down stories for generations about the so-called Valley of Death. According to their accounts, enormous semi-spherical metallic structures partially emerge from the ground in remote areas of the taiga. They do not rust, they do not heat up under the sun, and they appear resistant to any attempt at damage. Hunters who spent the night near these alleged objects reported illness and persistent discomfort. Several expeditions have attempted to locate the structures. Some found absolutely nothing. Others claim to have seen formations resembling those described, yet were never able to document them properly. To this day, no one knows for certain whether these stories describe natural phenomena, forgotten structures, or merely legends passed down through generations. In Siberia, reality and mystery often walk side by side. And in a land so vast, isolated, and unexplored, there may still be secrets waiting to be discovered. Swamps, mosquitoes, and a complete lack of landmarks. A place that seems unwilling to be found. There are several scientific explanations for these phenomena. Some researchers suggest natural structures formed by gases rising through frozen ground, creating unusual shapes. Others point to naturally occurring metallic formations composed of iron-rich rocks. There is also the hypothesis that they are remnants of secret Soviet installations whose documentation was never released. None of these theories has been definitively confirmed. Local peoples have avoided these areas for generations and rarely guide visitors to them. Lake Baikal is home to one of the most extraordinary animals on Earth, the Baikal seal. This seems impossible, since Baikal is a freshwater lake located in the heart of Asia, thousands of miles from any ocean. Yet approximately 100,000 seals inhabit its waters year-round. The most widely accepted explanation states that their ancestors migrated from the Arctic Ocean during the Ice Age and remained isolated within the lake. Over thousands of years, they adapted completely to fresh water. This transformation fascinates scientists because marine seals depend on salt for much of their physiology. The Baikal seal, however, evolved a body entirely adapted to a different environment. In addition, it dives to depths of up to 1,312 feet and can remain underwater without breathing for as long as 70 minutes, making it one of the finest divers among all seal species. Another mystery emerged in the Yamalo-Nenets Autonomous Okrug. In 2014, reindeer herders discovered a gigantic, perfectly circular crater in the middle of the tundra, measuring about 197 feet in diameter. The day before, nothing had been there. Scientists believe these craters are caused by methane accumulating beneath the permafrost. Over months or years, pressure builds until the ground violently explodes from the inside out, launching tons of earth into the air. By 2023, more than 20 similar craters had been recorded across the Yamal region. The problem is that they appear without any warning. In Khakassia, there is another enigma. Lake Itkul appears to be an ordinary lake surrounded by beautiful rolling steppe hills. Its water is clean, seemingly healthy, and chemically not very different from other lakes in the region. Yet there is virtually no life within it. There are no fish, no significant populations of algae, crustaceans, or mollusks. For a long time, local peoples have associated the lake with stories and legends about dangerous places. Scientists suggest that unusual mineral concentrations or periodic gas emissions from the lakebed may make survival difficult for organisms, but no definitive explanation has been found. The lake remains silent, beautiful, and mysteriously empty. The grandeur of Siberia can also be measured through the Trans-Siberian Railway. Stretching 5,771 miles, it is the longest railway in the world, connecting Moscow to Vladivostok. Its construction took place between 1891 and 1916, requiring 25 years of work. Without modern machinery, without satellite navigation systems, and without today's engineering equipment, thousands of workers crossed taigas, swamps, mountains, and the shores of Lake Baikal to complete one of the greatest infrastructure projects in human history. In some sections, it was necessary to blast through rock manually, yard by yard. Along the Baikal section, the most difficult of all, builders carved their route along rocky slopes suspended above the lake. One misstep, and a worker would plunge into the waters below. The construction of the Trans-Siberian Railway is considered one of humanity's greatest engineering achievements, not only because of the technical difficulty, immense as it was, but because this was Siberia. Before building each mile of track, it was first necessary to find a way to reach the site itself. Today, approximately 100 million tons of cargo and millions of passengers are transported annually along the Trans-Siberian Railway. But there is something that few people know. Part of the railway remains unstable. Permafrost frequently distorts the track structure. The ground beneath the railway continuously freezes and thaws. Embankments settle. In certain sections, train speeds must be restricted, not because faster locomotives are unavailable, but because the tracks themselves could not safely support higher speeds. The longest railway in the world remains partially vulnerable, because Siberia is too vast, too cold, too alive. Its surface is constantly in motion. In eastern Yakutia, within the mountains of the Oymyakon Plateau, lies Lake Labynkyr. Reaching it is extremely difficult. It requires several days of travel in all-terrain vehicles along routes that barely exist, followed by a long trek across the mountainous tundra. For generations, the Evenki people have told stories about a creature said to inhabit the depths of the lake. A massive, dark being known, in approximate translation, as the devil. According to the accounts, whenever it appears on the surface, fishermen immediately leave the water. It sounds like nothing more than a legend. But there are intriguing facts. During the 1950s, Soviet geologist Viktor Tverdoklubov officially recorded the sighting of a large, unknown creature in Lake Labynkyr. His report was taken seriously within the Soviet system. In 2013, Russian divers explored the lake and discovered enormous bones and the jawbone of a large animal. The jaw did not match any known species from the region. To this day, its origin remains unexplained. The lake is approximately 197 feet deep, with extremely cold waters and poor visibility. Despite its reputation, it remains largely unexplored. No one knows exactly what once lived, or may still live, in its depths. Another remarkable phenomenon of Siberia is the so-called glass taiga. After a sudden thaw followed by an intense freeze, the entire landscape can become covered by an ultra-thin layer of transparent ice. Trees, branches, rocks, and grasses become coated in a crystal-clear film through which every detail remains visible. Under sunlight, thousands of reflections and tiny rainbows appear in every direction. At night, moonlight makes the forest seem illuminated from within. But this beauty hides a danger. The ice covers the vegetation that reindeer rely on for food. The animals cannot easily reach their forage or break through the frozen layer. The Nenets and Dolgan peoples refer to these periods as hard years because they can cause severe losses among reindeer herds and require years of recovery. Farther east lies Chukotka, the region where Eurasia ends. The Bering Strait separates Russia from Alaska by only 53 miles. On clear days, it is possible to see North America with the naked eye. Today, approximately 50,000 people live there, scattered across an area of about 278,000 square miles, making it one of the least populated regions on Earth. But it was not always this way. During the Ice Age, when sea levels were much lower, the Bering Strait did not exist. In its place stood a vast plain known as Beringia, connecting Asia to North America. It was across this land bridge that the ancestors of the indigenous peoples of the Americas crossed into the New World, perhaps between 15,000 and 20,000 years ago, and possibly even earlier. Today, where solid ground once existed, there is only water. And preserved on the floor of this strait may be traces of those first migrants, tools, campsites, and archaeological remains that remain undiscovered. No large-scale systematic search has ever been conducted because of the region's extreme conditions. Freezing waters, powerful currents, and significant depths make any investigation extraordinarily difficult. Siberia remains a land of extremes, a region where craters appear out of nowhere, lakes conceal mysteries, collapsing riverbanks reveal prehistoric creatures, and the cold turns the very air into a challenge to survival. And despite all of this, people continue to live there. The Evenki, Yakuts, Nenets, and Chukchi have learned over thousands of years to understand and respect this environment in ways that no modern expedition has fully managed to achieve. Siberia is dangerous for those who arrive without knowledge, and magnificent for those who have learned to live in harmony with it.